Peace, family. This your brother, Mr. Holipsism, coming to you on a Sunday at noon. About to get into this live stream. And the topic that we're going to cover today is what it means to be a part of the BAIO. I'm going to try really hard to be mature with this conversation because I've become less patient in my old age. The description says today we would like to elaborate on what it means to be a part of the BAIO and who can be a part of it. The BAIO is a social network of Diasporan and Continental Afrikans with chapters in every country, every state in America, in any, wait, in every African country, sorry, every state in America and any country African people reside in. Just like every Jewish person doesn't reside in this nation state of Israel, every African person doesn't have to reside in the nation state of Liberia in order for them to join and become a part of the BAIO. The reason why I say I'm going to try to be mature is because it's extremely frustrating, and it also I can't help it, but it makes me feel like people are being disingenuous. If we explain something explicitly and people pretend like they don't know what we're talking about or pretend that we didn't explain what this group is about. And the fact that we have to make a show like this, and this is full of this, transparency, annoys the fuck out of me. I'm just being honest. It really irks me. But that being said, I'm going to try to be patient and break down what I've broken down 20,000 freaking other times before. Now, one of the things that was a catalyst for this show was that, let me get my sister on here. Well, actually, Salima, wait a second before you come on. I'm gonna bring you on after I get through this part. The catalyst for this show, there's a demographic of people who decided that they can't join the BAIO. And the reason why they can't join the BAIO is because the BAIO is focusing on Liberia as the nation state for Black people, which it is. It's not like we have to create it. It already exists. That's a fact. Not up for dispute, not up for argument. The nation state for the diaspora, African Americans, and Africans in the diaspora is Liberia. Period. Point blank. End of story. Not up for debate. That being said, people said, well, I can't join because they want to go to Liberia and I don't want to go to Liberia. I want to go to Ghana. I don't want to go to Liberia. I want to go to Tanzania. I don't want to go to Liberia. I want to go to Namibia. Or I don't even want to go to the continent. I want to stay here in America. So therefore, I can't be a member of the BAIO. Can somebody please explain to me why we have chapters and logos for every state in America? Somebody please explain to me how we have logos and chapters for every country in Africa. Where on the About Us section or where on any live stream did anybody ever say that you cannot be a part of the BIO unless you're going to Liberia? Just wanted to get that out of the way so you can understand my frustration. Let me bring in my sister, because the sisters always have a way to calm me down. Especially my sister, Salima. I know I'm being mad. I know I am.
But I agree with you. I completely agree with you.
Annoying, Salima. It's like these shows irk me because it's like I feel like I can have a conversation when I feel like it's a legit conversation, but it's very hard for me to sit back and converse with somebody that I feel is being disingenuous. And when you have people that listen to our show on a weekly basis who are in the comments commenting every week, and then they say, we asked the question: should Liberia be the nation state for Black people in America and the diaspora? And they go, well, no, because I don't feel we need to displace people in other countries. What the fuck are you talking about?
That is because they don't understand what a nation state is.
Is that what it is?
Yes, that's because they don't understand world politics and world and the social constructs of the world. That's the problem. It has
But
nothing to
wouldn't
do
they,
with the way you're explaining it.
like, how many shows did they have to listen to before we answered that question? Or did we not answer it and address it on every freaking live show that we do?
But people omit what they want to, so that they can continue the talking points that better suit them. That's just the way people work. I have learned to completely ignore those people. If they have listened to the last two Sisters for Nationhood lives, we had sisters that have been different places on the continent. One living not in Liberia.
Right.
So I mean that alone that dismantles that argument that you have to be in the BAIO, you have to be in Liberia. That dismantles that. So you need to now find another reason that you want to gaslight and say you don't want to be in the BAIO. And that's just how that works. And what we're going to continue to do is call them out on ABS. That's all. I agree with you, and it's frustrating explaining the same thing over and over and over again, because it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if you caught the show last night.
Yeah, I did.
But that last part was a whole tirade that I went on because I'm sick of people making it seem like the continent is this horrible, horrific place. And all of the millions of people that live there must be experiencing those little incidents that are happening. So it's stuff like that that just tick me off. You know, like, nobody said you had to go to Liberia. No one said that. Where did you ever hear that from? Not Liberia was set up for the people in the diaspora. That's what it was set up for. So of course, our focus will start there because that was set up for us. That country was created for us. If you decide you don't want to go there, don't go.
Yeah, like if you live in Atlanta, Georgia, guess what? There's a BAIO chapter in Atlanta, Georgia. What's the problem? Like, what is this? The thing that really annoys me, I'm going to tell you what really bothers me. What bothers me is how much firewalls and roadblocks and obstacles that you have to jump over to be on Facebook.
Exactly.
I never heard anybody say the same thing about, well, I don't want to be on Facebook because blah, 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 blah. You signed up to Facebook, you signed up to YouTube, you signed up to all these major social media networks. But when we say, hey, sign up to the BAIO, which is actually a website about people who want nationhood, now all of a sudden the moon got to be in the right position. This has to be, everything got to fall in a line. The stars have to be aligned in order for you to sign up to a free web. Do you not understand why I am the way that I am? That's all I want to know. Because I just want to. I just don't want people to think that I'm freaking crazy.
I get it.
Nope, I completely get it. And this is the thing. The first thing that they forced you to do when you signed up for Facebook years ago was be friends with old boy.
Yeah,
that was a forced thing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, do you want to be friends? What's his name? I don't even remember his name.
Zuckerberg.
Yes, Mark is your first friend. I don't want to be friends with Mark. I unfriended him instantly. I don't want to be friends with you. But everybody still signed. There's probably people that's still friends with Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook because he was their first friend.
Yeah. See, I'm all for legitimate. I'm for legitimate criticism, Shalima.
Right, exactly. It's things that make sense. Things that actually make sense. And if you are just if it's just because you want to be difficult, go do that somewhere else.
Like,
go
did you see
that interaction with somebody else?
Because I need to
yes,
say
we can
something
hear
real quick.
you.
All right, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if my mic was working, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, you're working.
Continue.
You're working.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just that when I start, sometimes I just can't stop because it's just stupid things that are happening. That's just unnecessary.
I just want to know that you, because you're my sister, so I value your opinion, because I remember there was I think I had uploaded a video on my channel called Hollop Gets Triggered.
Yes,
when somebody actually asked me during the live stream, how do I join the BAIO? And I lost it. Just thinking about it right now is making me angry. I can't stand those type of people. I can't stand those type of people. I can't even hide my disdain, my disgust, and my anger when somebody gets on there and plays those type of games.
Stupid. It's just stupid. I'm just, I'm done with I've been done with the BS for a long time. So when those things happen, I'm just like, whatever. I can completely ignore them. Somebody, I think Spirit Lifter blocked somebody in the live stream last night. I'm not sure what they said, what they did, because I wasn't paying attention because I was doing the interview. But if you got blocked, you said something that you had no business saying, and I'm fine with that. Let's get rid of everybody who is. I mean, you don't have to completely agree with us.
Belligerent is the word I think you're looking for. Like it's
belligerent
and disingenuous.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, there's your favorite.
Oh my gosh!
Your favorite is on the line.
The whisperer is back. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I gotta deal with on a day-to-day basis.
That's what they gotta do when you block them. Thank you for your services.
Yeah, underrated comes in when you least expect it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, I didn't even hear him come in, and he just there, and I'm like, why are you whispering, sir? He's the best.
That's what I said. Like Salima and Madi are my balance. Like if either one of them say, "Holla, you acting up," I gotta calm my ass down because I value their opinion. I know that they don't come at me like that. Like they honestly love me and looking out for me. So that's why I always have to ask, because I get easily annoyed.
I mean, we all get easy. I know I get easily annoyed. And when I act out, it's not nice. So it's just everybody just let me be who I am and do what I do so I could be calm. There's only two Salimas. There's no in between,
And that's what I love.
Be nice and do what you need to do so that, because we call that other one my middle name, and nobody don't want to deal with her. I don't even like her.
But you know what's so funny, Salima? Everything that I hear these MGTOW, manosphere, blue pill, white pill, red pill niggas getting online talking about that they don't like about Black women is what I love about Black women. I've been surrounded by strong Black women all of my life. And the thing about it is, none of the women that's around me have ever said that they were strong.
Because if you are something, you don't have to announce it all.
My mom never said it. My aunts never said it. So like being around strong Black women with opinions and a personality and a thought never intimidated me. But apparently it's causing a lot of dudes to have panties.
I mean, not panties, thongs.
Yeah, they got thongs.
There's definitely something.
You know what? Not even thongs. They got string bikinis.
String bikini. You're right. String bikinis.
Wow.
They got something up there.
Why?
Thank you for your services.
I didn't know we was in Bikini Bottom now. Oh gosh.
I'm not intimidated by
Right
black
here.
women. Never met a black woman that I've been intimidated by ever.
And I mean, to be honest with you, I've had people say that my sisters and I are a lot. To be in a room with all four of us,
Which
if
I
you
have.
are not, absolutely multiple times.
Yep.
If you are not secure in your manhood, you might have a problem. You just might have a problem with, even if we're not paying you no attention. I have had people say, why y'all act like that? Sir, I didn't even say anything to you. What do you mean?
I love you guys,
y'all
man.
stand there.
I've been in a room with all of your sisters and your mom. Rest in peace.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the one you had to worry about though.
Oh yeah.
Because we would pay you no attention, but she would call you out on it though.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were in our early 20s, and this 50-something-year-old man said, I remember him asking, like, why do y'all act like that? We were at a party and we were just hanging out. We were minding our business. What makes y'all think that y'all better than everybody? Whoa, wait a minute, sir. Did we say that? So when you are around a strong, a black woman who she don't need to validate herself for you at all. If that intimidates you, look at yourself. Because 9 times out of 10, she didn't say anything or do anything to you to cause you to have that feeling.
And
That's never completely on you.
And this is another thing. People mistake that and feel like you guys aren't feminine. Y'all some of the most feminine black women I ever met.
What?
That's the crazy part. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like your existence is a living contradiction to everything these dudes be talking about.
Everything that they say. Everything. And I say it all the time. Even with the mate that I'm going to choose, you need to be a whole entire strong man. Because I don't want to be around. I'm not going to mate a man that I feel like I can overpower in any shape, form, or fashion.
And you don't try to do it.
I don't.
That's the crazy part.
You know how my personality is.
Yeah.
And if you can't, the guy almost married. Oh, I completely overpowered him just being myself, not doing anything extra, just being myself. And he would say, "Why are you so forceful?" Forceful, sir. What did I say that was forceful? Me telling you that you have to stand up and be a man in order to be with me is me being forceful? There's nothing else that we need to talk about.
I remember you was telling.
I can only do 25.
Shut up. Shut up. Right now. I don't see nothing else. You want me to tell what you did? Do you want me to tell what you did? Answer my question, yes or no. Oh, okay.
Oh my God, we throwing rocks now. We might be throwing brimstone and fire in it.
No, boulder.
I remember when you were talking to Madi. I don't remember what live stream it was on, but you were telling her about when you were walking down the street with me. Mm-hmm. And you were on the wrong side. Yep. And I put you on the right side. And it wasn't no conversation. It was just
nothing. When your hand, it was so funny because when your hand touched me, I knew exactly what was happening. I'm like, you dead wrong for that. And I just walked kindly to the side where I should have been in the first place. But that is the situation between two people, a male and a female, and they both know their places. And knowing your place is not a negative thing. Knowing your place is where there's order. I don't have a problem with you. I didn't feel offended. I actually laughed, and we didn't even discuss it until years later.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And there was no discussion. I know that you didn't do it. You weren't disrespecting me. You didn't shove me. It was a hand, and I moved over where I needed to be. Period. So if you're not woman enough to accept that type of love, because that was complete and total love, then you don't deserve to be with somebody like Mark. You don't deserve it. go ahead and continue being with the people that you've been with. It's just that simple. Or being
It is.
around them. I have
Jabari,
never, ever in my life been in the 30 years that I've known you, felt uncomfortable, unsafe in your presence. Ever. No matter where we were. So if that's not the type of man that you have around you, you need to reevaluate the men that you are around.
Yep. It's like Jabari put it best. He said that everybody acts like submission is a curse word, but yet they go to their 9 to 5 and they submit for 8 hours.
Submit every day. They don't just submit, they submit and bend over every day.
8 hours out of the day. You don't own that job. You don't own that
and you can't
that company.
Tell them what, man, the company that I work for, I appreciate the job that I have. I really do. But they try to tell you when you can go to the bathroom. They try to tell you how you can dress. I work from home. You have no control over what I do other than when I answer those phones in my house.
And
but
guess
they try
what?
to control everything that you do.
And guess
I go
what?
there every day.
Guess what?
What's
You
that?
have Navy SEALs submit to leadership.
Yes.
There's one guy who's the leader, the squad leader. They submit to that guy, and they're Navy SEAls.
And that
there's special
ops.
in
that.
Exactly.
There's no punk in that.
Like I've said before, people mistakenly equate being submissive to being a doormat. They're not the same thing. Somebody who is submissive just simply means, okay, listen, in this situation or in this relationship, I follow your leadership. That doesn't mean I'm just going to sit here and let you do whatever you want and I'm not going to say anything. All it simply means is, okay, you're the leader. I'm going to gladly follow you, gladly, do what needs to be done, but I'm not going to let you be reckless. And so the fact that people can't make that distinction is similar to how people make with the BAIO about when we talk about, oh, you can't, you got to be in Liberia. No, do you not know the difference between a primary and a secondary? Because like Khaled said, now I'll expand it. When you sign up for any organization, what do they tell you? They say they're open to everyone. Even though you know they have a specific agenda, they're open to everyone.
That's right. And that thing about that you said about being submissive, there's another part to it that we all forget. Because we always say, you're being submissive and this person is the leader. But then you have to remember that the leader has to be a true leader. No leader is leading that person or that group or that thing with the intent to hurt them.
Right.
Facts.
Okay. So this part, you have complete and total trust that this person is doing the best that he can, she or she can, to make sure that you are in your best, you get your best, your life is the best. Not, let me see if I can get over on that person. That's not a leader. That's an oppressor. There's a difference.
Narcissism. And
absolutely.
There's a word for that, and people have made that distinction. There's a difference between being dominant and being domineering. They're two different things, and people need to make the distinction.
Yeah, right. Distinction and nuance is not big in America and in our culture.
No, not at all. Not at all. And they honestly do not look at words or use words in the proper context, and then they change the words according to their feeling in that day and time, and that's not the way that words work. Words have definitions, and like they don't change.
Right. I hate that so much.
No.
If these guys really knew what alpha meant, they wouldn't be using it.
The situation that we just conveyed about me being on the wrong side of the street and being moved where I needed to be in a non-aggressive, non-offensive, loving way is the sign of an alpha. That is an alpha. And the fact that we didn't even have to discuss the act, it was a fluid action that nobody else on the street probably even noticed, but he and I knew exactly what was. As soon as he touched me, I knew what was wrong. I knew why I was being touched. I knew why I needed to go ahead and take his lead and go where I needed to go. There was no question in my mind. That is an alpha. There's no that word has been turned into a negative term because people misuse it. If it's used in the right context, that's people are alpha males. People, I don't like the term alpha woman, alpha female, because again, they've turned that into something negative as well.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so we again, wording, it has a definition. It has a definition, and with that word alpha, with that word leader, with that word submissive, there are acts that come behind it to solidify that you're actually using those words in the right context. Those are action words. So if you're just using them to be using them, then you're misusing that word.
Mhm.
So Mark has been an alpha of mine the entire time that I've known him. And I've never had a negative interaction with him. I've never had a situation where I was like, oh, I don't want to never be around him. Ever. Because he's always been himself. He's always shown respect. He's always, and not even a conversation that we've ever had. Ever. If somebody respects you, you do not have to have a conversation about that person respecting you. There are certain things that you don't have to have a conversation about. They just happen. If this is a true relationship where two people love and respect one another and they know their role. The issue is that people don't want to be in their roles. And that's where we're unbalanced as a people. In every aspect, we're unbalanced. The male and female relationship amongst a lot of people, but we are Black people, so we're going to talk about our relationship with our male and female counterparts. And a lot of it has to do with the way that our interaction with this country is. A lot of it has to do with the way our family dynamics are. And a lot of it has to do with the way that we've chosen to live our lives. But as an adult, you have to take a hard look at yourself and say, what I've been doing has not been working for the last X amount of years that I've been alive. Let me reevaluate what I'm doing. That right there that's when you start to say that you're an actual mature person, because maturity doesn't come with age.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then and the thing about it is that whenever we give advice and whenever we say something about relationships, we're coming from our perspective, and most importantly, and this is the most important distinction, your relationship is not our relationships. So don't look at our relationships and think, well, if this is how my relationship works, then this is how you must do your relationship in order for it to work. That's not how any of this stuff works. I just look at their relationships and say, okay, this is what they do. Now let me take a look at my relationship, what I'm willing to do, and then go from there. It's not look at us and then copy, because that mindset of, okay, well, how do I do this? You have different circumstances than I do. You have different personalities than I do. You're attracted to things that are different than me. So don't look at my relationship and say, oh, well, what do I need to copy from his relationship to apply to mine? Look at your relationship and say, what do you want? Okay, what are you attracted to? And then make it work based on what you find attractive, what you find important.
Yep. I was gonna make a point about relationship, but I don't want to take us too far off the topic.
The topic, but yeah.
The topic, yeah.
But I wanted to get back to what problems have you been getting in terms of resistance to joining the BAIO? Each one of you, if any.
I had somebody say to me, well, y'all reach out to me when, y'all have a plan, or y'all reach out to me when y'all have land. And I have a problem with those statements because we are supposed to be building this. You know, I'm not sure why people think that nations building a nation and you want a nation that's ready made.
You know what a perfect
are
response to that is, Salima? You can use this. You feel free to steal it from me.
okay.
Ask them, can you see the email when Facebook reached out to them? Because since that's what it takes for you to join something, can you show me the email when Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, reached out to you?
Exactly. Or YouTube or
Yeah. When did any of these social media companies reach out to you and say, hey, you know, let me show you my PowerPoint presentation so you can join my social media?
Reach out to them though? You know who did reach out to them?
Who?
Them white people that went over to Africa and snatched their asses.
Damn, come on now.
I mean, I'm just saying. So you want the people that's reaching out?
Like, comment,
or
subscribe.
You want the people that's saying, let's build this together? Oh, I'm being serious right now. I mean, it's funny and all, but for real, that's who reached out to me.
Yeah.
That's who said, come on, let's go. I got it.
They put hands on them.
I need you to build. Right.
They put hands on them.
They put hands on them and they made you build their shit. I'm just saying. They made you build their shit and then told you that you can't even partake in what you built.
Yeah. And I would just like to say I want to go. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, Salima. I'm sorry.
No, you good. Go ahead.
I was basing it because for those who haven't or who know are surprised why I've been doing a lot of live streams is because I've been doing some TikTok videos, or I'm getting more into TikTok to sort of spread the message. And one of the things that I've noticed, similar to what Salima's talking about, is this disingenuous arguments / intentional straw man ad hominem arguments. So on one hand, when you give them information that completely challenges their narrative, they double down on it. They don't want to listen to what you're saying and actually say, okay, well, this is what they're saying. Let me consider it. It's deflect, it's ad hominem, it's calling names. And that's what I think is really the biggest inhibitor of the BAIO is you got people who are so caught up in the disingenuous narrative and being disingenuous that we really can't do anything. Because if your whole premise is literally questioning our arguments, okay, you can question what we have to say. But if your whole premise is, oh, well, if we go to Africa, we're going to remove the indigenous people off. Who said we were having a process of land expropriation? We're just going to expropriate the land and just kick them off the land. Well, Africans don't like each other. Where are you getting that information from? Then at this point is when it gets frustrating.
Yep. Agreed. Underrated.
Yes.
Have people given you like resistance when it comes to like signing up?
No. I would say it was 2 people that I reached out to when I told them about the BAIO. They signed up. It wasn't no resistance. They didn't ask any questions. You know, it was a clear message of what I explained to them, and you know, using the analogies that you've made to help me understand the BAIO, and you know, from others, it just fell right into place. And yeah, there was really no resistance. So hey,
that leads to another question. What's your vetting process? Because I know you said 2, so your vetting process must be very strict in terms of who you're going to allow access into the group. What is your personal vetting process?
Well, I would say like with anything with networking, it's a conversation. I don't even mention like it's not one of those, Jehovah Witness conversations where you just go directly at them like, hey, you believe in Jesus Christ? Woo, woo, woo. Like, no, it's just, we talk about things that's probably indirect, that's not even related to nationhood. And then somehow, some way it boils down to like, what do we do personally? And, I tell them like, oh, like I'm about to start this book club. And it's like, really? What's this book club about? It's about Blueprint for Black Power. Wow, that sounds interesting. What made you join this book club or so? And then I dive into, the BAIO.
Right.
And based on how they understood nationhood and how, they see our own kind, Black Africans just not being treated as first class citizens, I knew from then we were like-minded. And even though they may worship a certain religion or so, at the end of the day, we both had the same interests, which was having a nation state on the African continent, Liberia. So I sent them, the website to, the About Us section. I even broke it down a little bit to like, what it is exclusively and stuff, and like things that we do outside of, the content that we push towards too. Like we have the lounge and stuff. And yeah, they were pretty much sold on it. That was pretty much
Yeah.
it.
Actually, that's similar to how I do it too. Like like you said, it's no Jehovah's Witness like Bible thumping thing,
Yeah.
but just mainly like indirectly talking about it to see where their head is at, if they're open and
Right.
receptive to it.
Right. Because
Yeah.
that's never my intent for me, is to just, come directly at it. Because then it's like it's like now you're becoming a car salesman. Like you need to hit this
Right.
quota. Like I'm not
Right.
worried about hitting a certain quota. It's the conversation itself and who you are as a person too. Like if this is something that I can see where it can go, then I'll bring it up. But if not, then I'll just leave it alone because it's not for everybody. So
hmm
yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty much my little process.
yeah, I had to give underrated some of that credit. That's why when I do my TikTok videos, that I have gained a lot of followers exponentially because a lot of people like the content that I'm posting, and it really, like he said, it doesn't. You have to be straight up blunt, but just give them basic information and basic facts. Share them videos, share them clips on it, and then as you start sharing more and more of this content, it challenges that narrative. So you get to that point where, okay, I want to join this. I want to be a part of this. It really comes down to that. Talking to them, having conversations, but most importantly, making sure you're challenging the narratives that they heard. And the more that you do that, the more people will follow you or consider following you.
hmm
And now I will be honest though, there is a friend of mine that I'm close with. It's not, well, I guess the resistance is just he's just very curious, like the typical stalling tactics, where's the land and how can this be done? They're thinking revolutionary and stuff. And I'm just like, look, like you really gotta be in it to actually know it and really understand what nation it is. Because as you said, Jabari, you can't think 1975. You have to think, 2055 or whatever. Like you have to, it's more smart based. It's more logical. Like we're taking things that we've learned from the past and finding better ways to, have a nation state for our people. So like I can understand where he was coming from because, it is something new to him and he definitely supports it, but it's just like the whole, oh, what about this? What about that? And going back to, using the analogy and stuff, like I feel confident in answering these questions because he's not the only person that asked these questions before. Like, as Hal would say, he laid down the groundwork. He's done this for years to where we don't even have to go through this stuff. Like, we know the right answers to say. So that's like the only resistance, but gradually he'll get along with it though. I mean, I know it'll take him some time, and after he's heard about the whole Liberia trip, like that's making him even more interested too. So I'm just like, eventually, you know, it may not be now, but at some point, you know, they'll tune into it a little bit more. So yeah, so everybody's different, you know. That's really my point.
And it's important, and I like the way that the underrated mind said it. Eventually, you know, we do more trips and all that, and we make more of those connections, more people will follow. And also it comes down to also making sure, and I've made sure that I had the information on hand so that I can easily challenge and debunk whoever is in my path. Because
Right.
I remember, and Salima can tell you this, I posted a TikTok video about African Americans and Freetown in Monrovia. And there was this huge influx of comments from some Africans who were upset that I said, "Oh, African Americans founded this, and you failed to include the indigenous populations." And so one of the things that I thoroughly did is making sure I broke it down. So now you can't come at me and say that I didn't tell you and you didn't know where I was coming from, because I broke it down to you and I explained it. And that really is the important thing, because it shows people this man knows what he's talking about. It's not like he's talking some vague abstract concept, or when he gets pushed, he falters. It's he knows what he's talking about. You can ask him any questions, you can challenge him, and he will go at it.
Yeah, yeah. And even another real life example how, you know, being in this social network is very exciting to me is because I'm also, like, as a side job, I'm with a startup company that began around 2015, and I was automatically in it because of the vision, where they are a tech company for basketball stats, you know, doing things digitally and taking away the administrative work from the league owners so that they could focus on other stuff. And me loving, having the passion for basketball, me willing to learn, they took me under their wing. And since I was one of the first A1 day ones, now I became a leader of other stat keepers and stuff. And it's all because of, you know, that unity, that network that we have, and just the fact that they were investing in the ones that, you know, believed in the vision as well. And now I'm a part of the operations part. How are we going to operate this for other, you know, people that want to join this company or so? And it's kind of like what I'm seeing with here too, basically, you know, like with the BAIO, the mission itself, the vision and where they're trying to go. I was automatically sold on it. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm in it for the long haul, because I knew after what I've researched or read or listened to, like, it just wasn't clicking until I came across Hollop, Minister DeWoo, you know, Amos Wilson, and other folks. And after that, it was just like, it was like a light bulb and a green light. That's just where I want to go, you know. So to be a part of these two, it's definitely, you know, a blessing, because now I'm around people that, you know, not only think like me, but we're also we're a unit. Like, if one's hurt, we all hurt. You know, if somebody's, you know, getting pushed back, then we all going to push back with them. Like, you know, we're like, it's like a wolf pack basically, but bigger. You know,
That's
so
right.
And I like how you said the underrated, because that's what really motivated me to do these TikTok and YouTube videos. Because if it wasn't for the BIL, I probably wouldn't be on YouTube. I probably wouldn't be saying what I'm saying, because everything that Hollop was talking about, a nation state in Africa, what really came to me, I was thinking in 2016, 2017, when I was in high school, that I didn't have an outlet. And then once I saw the BL, I was like, okay, yep, y'all the one. Now let's pick the nation. I know what nation we all need to be focused on. So let's focus on that. But really, if it wasn't for Hollop doing what he's doing, and Salim as well, I wouldn't have been that confident enough to actually do the YouTube video. I do my videos because I understand and learn from Hollow not to be so caught up in people's opinions. Your goal is to get the message out. Your goal is to challenge whatever message you had, and that's your goal. Don't be arrogant or braggadocious, but be that person who gives that message and comes with an open eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think too, like the
Oh man, underrated went on.
Yeah.
Oh, he got knocked out.
It's what's funny about this question. I don't have many people around me that I would even present the BAIO to. Here in the city that I live in, these people like where they are. They enjoy living a third-class citizenship in this country. I need to broaden my horizons and be around different people. That's basically what I'm saying. Because even with my family, there are certain family members. Well, there are family members outside of my sisters that I would never even discuss this with because they just not there. My friend pool is so tiny that they all in the BAIO already. So
Loving Nigel's point is on point.
It's very difficult for me to even present it to people because the majority of the people that I'm coming in contact with, they're not even worth that kind of conversation. I think that this information should be on an exclusive level. You just shouldn't be going running around saying, join the BAIO, join the BAIO. Everybody shouldn't get access to what we're trying to do because everybody is not worthy of it. And that's how important it is to me that it does not go out to everybody. When I was saying that my sister was going to help us with the travel, I forgot that she was already in the group. And then when we reached out to Hollop to add her, he was like, she already in there. And she had turned her notifications off. So she wasn't getting the notifications. So, that was the extent of, who I would even present it to. My sisters, and that's about it. My nieces and nephews know everything about what we do. My sisters and I, all of the organizations that we are in, and as they become adults, they decide whether or not that's something that they want to be involved in. So I hold this group of people so dear to my heart that everybody is not going to be exposed to it on my end. I can tell you that much. They
have to be worthy.
Yeah, they have to be. I mean, and even when I was truly active in the Lost Foundation of Islam, I didn't just walk up to everybody and be like, hey, you want to be in the Nation of Islam? That's not something that you do, with something that you really care about. Everybody don't touch the things that you care about, and I think that that's the way that we should pay. It shouldn't just be any and everybody, because we've had some any and everybody people join the BAIO, and some of them lasted a few days, a week, where we had to actually remove them because they weren't worthy of it. So let's not just give it to anybody.
I think that's at the beginning, like Lovin, like Shona said, at the beginning process. Who removed Nigel for 5 minutes?
Yeah, who did that?
What?
Somebody blocked her for 5 minutes. So who did that?
Somebody actually blocked me. Wait a minute. This must be by accident.
It's got to be because who's in there blocking or removing people?
Hold on. Let's see what's going on.
You said somebody blocked you? What is happening?
Ray said her message was deleted. Let me wait. I don't know why. That's weird.
Also, now that I'm trying to type, it's telling me that an error has occurred. Wait a minute, then try again.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's doing the same thing with me.
It's the government doing it.
And also,
that is too weird.
And also, I would like to add to Salima's point. I agree. When you're in the developing processes.
Also, sorry.
Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry, Jabari. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I agree with Salima to a certain extent that when you're in the beginning process, it needs to be exclusive because you need to get everything together, get everything organized, and so that you can make sure it's well running and it's going smoothly. Once you get bigger and you're a nation state, then at that point, people are gonna know about you regardless. And so it just honestly decides who joins and who doesn't. Like, because at that point, like I said, at that point, it's gonna filter out. Like I always say, people who are gonna find it are gonna find it. They're gonna be attracted to it. And there are certain people you can get to, and like Salima said, we know there are Black people we're not going to get, and that's fine. And that's people we don't waste our time. But our goal is to reach as many people as we can, and those people who don't want to do it, that's okay with you. That's okay, because we know we're not gonna get everybody. And when you come with that expectation, it's so much easier.
Agreed.
I agree.
Paula, do you see in the chat something that says vor.ngo?
Got rid of that. We got rid of that. We blocked that because that's not something.
Right. That's what I'm wondering if that has something to do with what just happened. I don't know.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, I'm up here talking with my mic on mute. Yeah, I heard everything you said, Marty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why that happened. That's weird. But I just want Shauna to know we didn't do it to you, sis. We're not trying to dish you.
Exactly. I was actually trying to say that I agreed with everything that I was trying to put that in the chat that I agreed with everything that she said.
Anybody want to address Barudi's question? Hello?
Yeah, I'll address it.
I'm reading. I was reading it.
Oh.
Go ahead, Jabari. Go ahead.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any critique for complaining, because if you know the solution and you don't do the solution, then you can't complain about the situation, because we're giving you the solution. It's not like we're giving you something that we are not sure will work, or an alternative that's not valid. Then you have no right to complain, because I always say this: you cannot boycott something with or nothing. You can't complain about something and not give an alternative. If we're giving you an alternative, we're saying, okay, listen, you don't like how you're being treated here. You think the country's never going to change. Let's go to Liberia or West and build satellite communities in other African countries so that y'all can feel safe and feel welcome. Well, we don't want to do that. Then at that point, then you really have nothing to complain, because we're giving you an alternative and you're choosing not to accept that alternative.
Let me read the question, because maybe I'm not quite understanding. He says, can you discuss the notion that if Blacks are saying that there are no solutions to our dilemma, but you are rightly saying there are, then shouldn't we critique us? But you are rightly. then shouldn't we critique us for complaint? Maybe that's what I'm not understanding.
That's where I was stuck at as well. I don't think I
too.
can you please just
Yeah,
explain that
clarify
last
that
part?
that
Just clarify
question
what
because
you're
I'm
trying to
not.
say before we respond back to you, because I didn't understand that last part either.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and register to the goddamn website.
Stop whispering.
Us for them. That's what I think he was trying to say. Shouldn't we critique them for complaining? I think that's what he was trying to say.
Oh, well, it reminds me of a story I told about David Hitt was on a program one time, and he's a nationalist, and he wasn't talking about Liberia, but he was talking about land on the continent and how we need a nation state. And they were against him and said, no, you can't, we shouldn't do this and we shouldn't do that and whatever. And so he went on to explain like how the nation state would be for the people that did do it. And so their next question was, oh wait, I'm getting an echo. Somebody's got their mic open. Oh,
it was Beyonce.
Yeah. So they said, well, what about the blacks people here in America? And he said, that's your problem. And I thought that was the perfect response, because it's like, how are you going to turn around and tell him he can't do it? And then now you want him to be responsible for the people that you supposed to be taking care of. You to do it right here, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? That's how it is. It's like people want to have their cake and eat it too.
It's what I constantly refer to as just situational awareness. They're not situationally aware. I remember we were talking about land infrastructure nation, and I was trying to reach out to a dude and he said he thought he heard about the BAIO, and I was talking to him, right, and I said how Liberia is our our home and we should do this, and I'm basically trying to challenge what he says, and I told people, and then the last response was, and I'm not against what y'all are doing. I just know we need a nation of our own. I'll dedicate my life to that. I remember hearing that. He literally said that to me. The last thing, I didn't respond, but he said, and I'm not against what y'all are doing. I just know we need a nation of our own. I'll dedicate my life to that. And that's what I'm talking about, situational awareness. It's like,
so then why are you wasting?
I don't know if y'all heard what I said earlier. People purposely omit things that they want to omit from a conversation. So I'm certain that I don't even need to know what that conversation was on your part, Jabari, but I'm certain you explained it to him in the simplest terms possible, and he still didn't get it. So yeah, that's not on you. That's not on you. That's on that brother who can't comprehend basic simple language. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to say that he explains things so that a third grader could understand it, because he only had a third grade education. So he want to make sure that those third graders can understand what he's saying. You know, a child should be able to understand how you're explaining something if you truly know what you're explaining. So I'm certain that that's how you explained it, but that doesn't mean that everybody is going to receive it the proper way.
Yeah. And that's true.
And if are we critiquing them? We're not critiquing them. That there's no critique in it's either you agree with what we're saying or you don't, and we move on. That's my brother, that's my sister. I love them. I have family that is never going to agree with what we are trying to do. Never. Do I just dismiss them because they don't agree with my personal choices? Absolutely not. That's still my family. I still love them. I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to them. But I have free will to believe and think and do the things that I want to do, believe and think, and so do they. There's no critique in that. You either agree or you disagree. There's no force. There is no compulsion. You either see what we say and you agree with it and you move with us and you have time and patience and you know, your heart is open to doing what is right for Black people, or you don't.
Mm-hmm. And to add to Salima's point, when you explain it in simple terms and you explain or you try to correct it, and like I said, and they double down, that's when you need to move on, because obviously you're not trying to have a good conversation. What you're trying to do is you're trying to double down on what you know. If I'm telling you this is not correct and your response is to double down, that tells me everything. So now I don't really need to engage in a conversation with you anymore, because obviously you don't want to see it that way. Period.
Yeah, like, and to double down on what you guys said, there's a video on my channel called Nigga, Who Told You We Wanted You in Africa? Because there seemed to be this thing like, you want to force me to go? Nigga, nobody wants you there.
Exactly.
You can stay right here getting your ass kicked. Nobody cares.
Being a dirt citizen, not even a second, third, fourth. You're a dirt citizen.
Nobody forced you. This is not a reverse transatlantic slave trade.
I love.
Y'all want to
I
see?
love what the series said.
Wait, listen to this. A 14-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy had a gun battle with the police. They were shooting assault rifles, handguns, shotguns at the police. Okay? The police officers, you can hear on their body cam, he said, stop. No, don't shoot back. These are children. Do not shoot back. They are children. You can hear another police officer saying, oh my God, please don't make me shoot them. Oh my God, can they please stop? I don't want to shoot them. Okay? Because they were white children. So if you want to stay in a place where your Black child is automatically seen as a threat and the police will gun them down without impunity, they will gun them down without a second thought, but these kids are actively shooting at the police, and they had love and compassion inside of them to say, I'm not going to kill these two little white children. So if this is where you want to stay and you want to continue to be a dirt class citizen with these people, you stay right here. There's no critiquing. It's black and white. You see it every single day, and you decide what you want to do. I am not trying to force anyone to do anything that they do not want to do. That is not our goal.
That is a profound example of the fact that there are two Americas.
Absolutely.
I want to add,
and one for us.
And I want to add to Salima's point. If you are against the nation state, then do me a favor. When you bring up reparations, please don't bring up Jewish community or Japanese Americans. Please don't bring them up again. Because you will say in one breath, we don't need a nation state. And then we'll say, well, the Jewish community got Israel, even though that's not how they got it. And you'll say Japanese Americans, well, because they have the nation of Japan behind them. So which one is it? You can't then say you want reparations and then quote two groups that have nationhood in common with them that you say is part of it and then be against nationhood. Then don't bring it up. Don't bring it up.
And I'm
good luck with that.
I'm gonna piggyback off you, Jabari, because we could keep ping pong.
Wait, Deontay, you gotta mute yourself.
Oh God.
Because reparations is given to a nation. So don't say that you want reparations and you don't want a nation state, and you want to stay right here and buy Jordans. That's not what reparations is. Reparations is repairing a group of people who have a nation. That's the definition of reparations. So in order for us, that's why the Jews have Israel. That's why the Japanese receive what they receive, because they have a nation. So either you, again, let's stop using words that we don't know the meanings to. In order for you to get reparations, you have to be a people that was misplaced, hurt, damaged in a way that they cannot be fixed, and you have to have a nation. That's the definition of reparations. It is not, everybody is not going to get a check. It is to repair a people. You're not going to get a check and everybody say, oh, as soon as black people get reparations, they're just going to go buy Jordans and they're going to buy big houses and cars. It's just not how reparations work.
And to piggyback off Salima's point, these are the same group of people who then say we don't have a nation to represent us. And I always say, well, if you claim Liberia, you can then say, go to the UN, go to the world, and basically say, yo, this government was created by African Americans with the help of the U.S. government. The U.S. government was directly responsible for this country. So there's no denying when we say, okay, you owe us because you created us. The U.S. can't sit. I ain't had no business. We got the evidence. So don't don't bring up this reparations comment, cut the check. And then when we tell you, well, what is the phrase that everybody constantly asks? Well, who's going to get it? How is it going to be distributed? Because that's always the question that everybody asks when it comes about African Americans should get reparations. Who's going to get it?
Yeah. I want to put everybody on mute so that Deontay can speak, because when we are open, it's a feedback. So I'm going to put myself and everybody else on mute and open up Deontay so he can speak.
No, I'm okay just listening in, guys. Go ahead. Because y'all saying pretty much everything I was going to say, especially Jabari. So y'all go ahead.
I just want them to cut me the check. I'm tired of these food stamps and EBT cards. Shit.
And also, let's do that hypothetical. Let's do that hypothetical. I really just want to hamper on that hypothetical. Let's say hypothetically the United States gives Black Americans the check that we deserve. Okay, let's just say they give us the check and all of that. Does that deal with the systemic inequalities that it created?
No.
Okay, then.
Not at all.
But this is the thing with reparations, there has to be clear and concise guidelines. They're going to come up with what reparations is going to be. Let's take Israel for example. Israel, the country or the state of Israel receives money to keep up its infrastructure, to keep up, for the government, for most issues that they have, their military, X, Y, and Z, and then the people get X amount of money as reparations or repairing what was done to them. But the majority of the money goes into the nation state to make sure that it can sustain itself. So reparations is repairing that people and making sure that the nation that they go to, the nation that they build, has the proper infrastructure. It has, it builds up the agricultural portions of that land. That's what reparations is. For some reason, Black people truly believe that reparations is cutting of checks to individuals as opposed to a large portion of it going to building up your nation.
Because they're thinking like a slave.
Is. Exactly.
When you go to a person who owns property and you ask them,
your voice is getting light. It's getting really, really
light. Shit. Hold on. Hold on. They're trying to play me again.
It's the helium voice.
Oh Lord.
I didn't even realize
YouTube fucking it up.
I saw it earlier. I heard it earlier. I'm like, this man's voice is sounding super light. And then I was like, I'll up you need is getting really, really light now.
I would like to read a comment from the comment section. Please forgive me if I pronounce it wrong. I think her name is Asiri. She said, when you're building something, it's something, when you're building something new, It's a paradigm shift. Until they see significant momentum, they will take notice. You can only do this work with like-minded people. I thought that was a very, very, very profound statement. Just wanted to point that out there.
How do I sound now? The same?
Agreed. You sound better.
great
You
now.
sound like yourself now.
Sound like
Okay.
$1 million bucks.
I'm tired of them trying to play me on here, man.
I know.
It's either
Siri, you're
robot
absolutely
voice.
right.
But yeah, like I
Yes.
was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by StreamYard. When you have a owner, somebody who owns property, who has actual wealth, and you say you want to give them something, compared to if you just ask a slave, what do you want to give them? That's the reason why we get these different answers when it comes to the reparation issue. See, these people want a check, and they say cut the check. My question is, who do you want to cut the check? Do you want the U.S. government to cut the check, or do you want your government to cut the check? That's my question.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy part is that the way reparations work, it will it's I mean, even though Jewish people, because that's the most recent, they do get monetary gain, from, and the funny part about it is they get monetary gain from the United States of America for something that happened in Germany. Pay attention to that part. Pay attention to that part. So when people say the United States of America can't give Black people reparations, it would destroy their economy. We have to understand that it wasn't just the United States that engaged in the transatlantic slave trade. It was the major white nations that all together collectively came together and said, we're going to steal people. That's how that works. So it wouldn't be just the United States of America. So please, people, I implore you to just do the research. It's there. It is a Google search away.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we're saying, don't just take our words for it.
Matter of fact,
if I say something to you, if you hear me say something, confirm. Don't take my word for it.
Matter of fact, I want y'all to look up this right now. I'm about to put it in the chat. Okay. I want y'all to go research that what I just put into the chat. If people think I think that I'm joking, just go look up that right there, and it'll tell you. But yeah, he says Pan-African equals long-term solutions, but for false reasons. The strategy that getting revs by demands is possible makes sense to many. BAIO must debunk that false. We can, like I said, I'll debate anybody. That's me. I'll do it anytime, anywhere. Like I've said, I got no problem. I enjoy this. But the simple reality of the situation is, matter of fact, you have African governments in Caribbean nations right now actively pushing for reparations. Right now, Martinique wanted to do it. Barbados is trying to do it. You have so many of these Caribbean and African countries who want basically say, yes, y'all are responsible for doing this. We want the money that is owed. And instead of us as African Americans saying, you know what, let's work with the Liberian government and demand that the U.S. government pay us the money that it took. Because guess what? That money, them taking us from Africa to the Americas, and then not allowing for us to return to Liberia, not only harmed us, it harmed the Liberian economy because not enough African Americans were able to go in. So therefore, the economy didn't have enough means to industrialize itself. So we can make two connections just with our reparations case with nationhood. And it's indisputable.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have a question for the people who say America does not have enough money to pay Black people reparations. Why you care?
God damn.
Why do you care if somebody come in my house and rob me, and we go to court, you get convicted of, you know, robbing my home, and they put you in jail, and then they say on top of you going to jail, you got to pay her back that money. Am I going to say, no, don't do that to him? He going to be in jail. Is that what we do? Or do we accept that payment?
Also,
it's about making me right after you have hurt me in such a way that it is ingrained in my DNA. They say that Black people who were transported here via the transatlantic slave trade, that passage, the treatment, the food that we ate has altered our DNA to the cellular level. And you mean to tell me that you feel like we don't need to be repaired? And if that's how you feel, you need to go away from me forever.
And also, when we have our own nation state, whatever money, let's say the U.S. gave us, let's say $500 billion, because realistically, the U.S. ain't gonna give us trillions of dollars. I don't know where they get this idea that they're gonna give us trillions of dollars, 20, 30. Like, let's be real. Like, this is what I mean. These advocates, they don't make sense. But let's say the U.S. gave us $500-600 billion to our nation state. That's plenty of money to go do things according to international standards. And since we're gonna be in our own nation, we don't have to we don't have to pay their money. We're in a new different standard. That's why when you go to different countries, $1 is not the same as in other countries, in other nations. So our money that we get is going to be on our standards. So we can live like first-class citizens and may not have the amount of income per capita, let's say the United States or even Sweden or Norway, but if you adjust it based on the cost of living, we're living like first-class citizens. But that's how this goes into Howell's point of controlling your reality. When we get that money, even if it's $500 billion, a trillion, we can adjust it to our cost of living and make it our own. You can't do that in America.
Plus, do you remember when the shutdown first happened, when coronavirus, when they shut down the economy?
Mm-hmm.
They said, I remember the Federal Reserve chair at that time, they were interviewing him, and it was said that the Fed was giving the banks $1 trillion a day. And I remember him saying that he said that we can literally print as much money as we want.
Talk about that.
Hold up. Let me add to your point. Do y'all not know in Great Britain? Did y'all not know in Great Britain, up until like 2015, 2016, the British government was still paying reparations, the debt from reparations that they gave to British slave owners in the West Indies. The British people up until 2015, 2016 were still paying money to the debt that they had when they paid it to slaveholders.
And, I mean, let's think about that. Let's unpack that. The fact that they paid the slave owners reparations because they couldn't have slaves anymore, but the slaves get nothing. Let's unpack the amount of BS.
It sounds like
stated.
It sounds like
insane.
It sounds like somebody needs an intervention. That's what it sounds like to me.
It sounds
we need to stop being so goddamn puritanical in the way that we approach reality.
Exactly.
Because it seems like Black folks are just expecting to ask nicely for power. You know, if you just asked it nicely and politely, then maybe people will give it to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, the same people that stole you from where you were from by force, they murdered you, they threw you over the ship in the ocean, they beat you, they cut babies out of mothers' bellies, they dragged you behind cars and carriages, and you know, one arm and leg is attached to one carriage, and then they beat the horse and they go the opposite direction and rip your body in half. Those people, we're concerned whether or not they can make it after they give us reparations.
Can I share something with you
go ahead.
guys?
Yes.
Can I share something? Has anybody ever seen that movie, The Departed?
I'm not sure.
What's the
No.
dude? The dude that directed Goodfellas. What's his name? The director. Lawrence Scorsese, Martin Scorsese. Leo DiCaprio was in it. Mark Wahlberg was in it.
I don't remember.
Matt Damon. Okay. I want to read you something
so.
from there's a character that Jack Nicholson played called Frank Costello. And this is what he said in the movie. And I remembered this, and I remembered it so much that I took it and put it on my page. I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. Years ago, we had the church. That was only a way of saying we had each other. The Knights of the Columbus were real headbreakers, true guineas. They took over their piece of the city. 20 years after an Irishman couldn't get a fucking job, we had the presidency. May he rest in peace. That's what the niggas don't realize. If I got one thing against the black chappies, it's this. No one gives it to you. You have to take it. And I'll just leave it at that.
That's right.
Stupid as shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand why we are concerned. Anything that is...
We want to be liked by everybody but ourselves.
No, I would say I'll go with Howard's point, puritanical. We want to be the moral, like the morality of the world. And it's like, listen, you have to advocate for your agenda and align with people who support your agenda. Okay? You can complain, like for example, you may not like this country or what their country, but they'll say, listen, we'll speak on your behalf, we'll advocate for you and all this stuff, but we want something in return. I'm like, okay, fine. That's how stuff works. The thing that people need to understand, politics is about exchange, it's about demands, it's about what do you want. It's not about kindness, it's not about forgiveness, because I agree with Salima. I get sick and tired of these articles saying, we're trying to close the racial wealth gap and we need to have more conversations about this. I cringe when I see that. I'm like, how many more times do we need to hear about this? We know, we get it, we know. Next.
Yo, I put it to you like this, and this is a harsh reality that we damn well better accept. When something works in your interest, sometimes, most times, it works against the interests of somebody else. So you're going to benefit from that, and somebody's not going to benefit from it. Deal with it. Do you think white people give a shit that there's no, like, white people did not want any prisons in their neighborhoods, no drug centers in their neighborhoods. Did they give a fuck where it went?
Nope.
Also,
you think they care that it's in black neighborhoods? They don't give a shit. It's just not in theirs.
Also, how moral was it to steal people and rape, murder, and pillage them? How moral was that? Why we care about morals?
Matter of fact, let's add further. Do you think the United States care? The United States will critique China and critique Russia. Does it care the fact that it's bombing countries in the Middle East and Africa? No, it will literally critique other countries while still bombing other countries and making them starve. Hence, some countries like Somalia, countries like Niger. They'll literally bomb countries and don't even care that they're doing it.
Two-man team exit strategy.
Asiri, you go ahead. I wish we could get you on this though. Absolutely. The argument is about post-genocide and the constant threat of genocide to the future generations. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Two-man team exit strategy. That's all I'll say.
And the thing about it that's so funny that's I was in South Africa, and one of the things that the South Africans asked me was, it's funny how the world demonized us about apartheid, but when it comes to Jim Crow or slavery, nobody around the world makes a huge fuss about that when literally they were the exact same thing. If you look at apartheid and Jim Crow, they're the exact same thing, and yet everybody knows about apartheid, but yet nobody will make that same thing about Jim Crow. They'll say,
didn't they model it after it?
Yes, they did.
So, I mean, these guys made the template for oppression and slavery.
And my thing is, the most immoral, inhumane group of people on the planet are trying to be the moral police for the world.
Yep.
And the sad part is that black people just go according with it. They agree with it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's like all the countries that right now are leading peace talks about human rights violations are some of the worst ones, like Germany, the United States, the UK have histories of slavery, killing natives, nuking people. It's just like, bro, why does anybody with any real common sense listen to anything that they have to say? That's my whole thing with a list of issues I have with the United Nations. That's why I say that shit just needs to be gone. They need to tear that shit down. It doesn't even do the shit that it's supposed to be doing. My opinion. I mean, I've seen some evidence to the contrary sometimes, but then it's just like you're only helping that country to prop up a brutal right-wing regime that's going to give you what you want. It's like you're not helping them out of the goodness of your heart.
It's all a game.
So it's all a game. So it's like this whole United Nations thing. It's just a bad joke. It really is.
The IMF.
Yeah, it's a joke. All of it.
Never ask for what you don't have the ability to take.
That's right.
Oh, and to speak to and to add to Salima's point about the most moral people, the most immoral people speaking on human rights. These are the same people that are speaking about what's going on in China about with Uyghur Muslims, right? But then will gladly bomb Middle Eastern countries and literally kill millions of Muslims around the globe. But then are going to say, "Oh, we're worried about what's going on in China." Really? Where was that at when you was in Afghanistan? When you was
we don't even. We can make it shorter. One word: Hiroshima. What other country has done that?
Yeah, or like when they was raping the young Iraqi boys in front of their mothers.
That's why it's so funny. That's why it's so funny that they want you to get your panties in a bunch because somebody else has a nuke. What did these motherfuckers do with their atomic bomb?
I feel like black people, they tell black people to act one way and they act a completely different way. That's the same thing with the Stop Asian Hate mantra that they had out this past year. And if you said anything negative about Asian people because of coronavirus, or they were getting beat up by white men was attacking Asian people. There was a couple of black, but the vast majority.
Yeah, the vast
white
majority.
Men.
Yep.
Okay, so why is it now black people's responsibility now to protect Asian people when nobody comes to our aid? Nobody.
And I don't care what
happens to nobody.
And I'll add even further.
If it's not black people, y'all go ahead and do what y'all want to do. That's not my situation. Asian people don't care what happens to anybody, no one except for Asian people. They do not care. And 9 times out of 10 is their Asian country, not even the other Asian countries.
Nobody cares about their own. Like I said,
no. The problem is, here's the thing that black people got to understand. You have to focus on your interests first. You can work. Listen. There are plenty of issues. Y'all know me. I study the world. I'm passionate about everything that's going on around this world, hugely. But at the same time, my priority is to make sure what's going on in Africa. I'm not naive to say, okay, let me just completely focus on this and disregard what's going on the continent of Africa. I'm making it specifically clear. Okay, my goal is, how can Africa benefit from whichever countries? If the West is treating us like this, how can we as Africans benefit from, let's say, Iran, China, Russia, or other countries like that? I'm thinking it through that lens, okay? Because like Salima said, we can look at the United States. The United States doesn't care about what's going on about the situation in China. They're just using that as a thing to turn countries against China. They don't care. but they'll gladly use it when it suits them. Do you think the United States really cares about what's going on about the Ukrainian people? No, they're using Ukraine because they want to get back at Russia. That's literally what it is. They don't care. They just care about their interest. Like that famous quote says, and I'm going to say, there's no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interest.
And interest ain't even permanent.
Agreed.
Because those can change. So that's the lesson. You know what I mean? But see, that's the thing. It's like when we have our head on straight, interaction with other nations and people don't bother me. Because when we have our head on straight, we work in our own interests. Any interaction we have with anybody is going to be for our benefit and not theirs. The problem with interactions right now is that you got a bunch of militant integrationists and Black Power Americans running with the globe. They're more concerned about taking care of somebody else's house rather than taking care of their own. So when you talk about alliances and coalescing, then it becomes dangerous. Because these people will hand over the fucking shop. It's crazy, man.
But see, we understand how politics and how global affairs work. We study it. So we're not naive. We don't just take things at face value. We understand how global politics works and how you're supposed to maneuver. When you don't know this, or this is not your cup of tea, you don't know what's going on. You don't know how to respond.
And I'm gonna tell you, I want to address this hate thing.
Oh shit.
I want to address that, and I'm gonna hit you close to home. I'm gonna do an Amos Wilson on y'all. I'm gonna hit you close to home with this hate bullshit, because that's the thing. Like, and I've made videos about this, and y'all have seen it. It's like that's an absolute extinction level event is for Black people to hate somebody. And even Black people feel that way. They feel like we have to be the moral compass of the world. Because if we hate, then everything is going to, like, the whole shit is going to fall off its axis, right? So let me hit you where it hurts. With your own fucking Bible. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under the sun, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain, a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So get the fuck out of here with this we shouldn't hate people bullshit. Even your own Bible don't preach that dumb shit.
Well said, Ashe.
Also, here's the thing. Don't ever let somebody say that you can't have grievances against them when literally whenever something happens to them, they don't let it go. Like I always say, when they say Black people should get over the past, but then when what happened with September 11th, all of a sudden we're not supposed to forget about that. Like we're not supposed to get.
Yo, son, I'll never forget this. When 9/11 happened, right? What's that guy? The guy in Harlem, Reverend Calvin Butts, I believe is his name. This guy's a Christian preacher, right? Any other time, what are they preaching? Turn the other cheek. Forgive thy enemies. This guy got on television and was hoping, like wishing President Bush success and taking down the people that was responsible for 9/11. The same Christian preacher that's talking about forgiving white people, forgiving this, forgiving that. But when it came to somebody attacking the United States, now all of a sudden he understands the concept of revenge.
The thing you have to understand about Christian preachers, the vast majority of them, 99.99.99% of them, they only read the passages in the Bible that are deemed okay for them to read. I have come across Christian ministers that don't know the Bible better than me, and I don't know the Bible at all, that have said to me, that's not in the Bible. And I said, that's your Bible right there that you use every day. Open up to this verse and that verse. And he's like, I never even knew that was in the Bible.
Yeah.
So we can't go according to that. They are walking around, still having a white overseer in the back of their church. They don't even need to physically be there anymore. They still spewing the same verses that they were spewing when they allowed those black ministers to learn how to read. But at first they wasn't reading. They was just reciting what they taught them. They're still doing that to this day.
And I want to ask the Christians. I want to ask the Christians, since I read that Ecclesiastes from your Bible, what season is it? What time is it? I mean, you are a Christian, right? This is your Bible. It says there's a time for everything. So what time are we in right now?
Let's go even further. Let's look at the most recent case with Kyle Rittenhouse. Or that if he's getting a book deal, he's getting treated like a celebrity. Ain't no way a black person would have even been able to even get that type of attention. We all know that right there just shows you in there. Look at what's going on with January 6th. You got people defending January 6th on the nation's capital, like, oh, it was just a tourist visit and we should move on from January 6th. That's literally what they're saying.
Straight up lies.
But we're supposed to sit back here knowing all the harm you've done to us. And I didn't get to the point about to Super African Media Labs design or Kiswahili's point about how the U.S. stopped us from going. When you literally let us endure hundreds of years of Jim Crow and Reconstruction massacres, because that's what they were. And then when you wouldn't allow us to leave, because I want y'all to understand just how brutal it was. There were African Americans who were waiting for ships to come for them to go to Africa, and the ships never arrived. And then they had to go back to their home counties and got lynched. Their only hope of survival was, I need to get up out of here or something's going to happen. And when they got sent back to their home counties, they ended up dying. When people went broke because they were given the promise that they were going to go on a ship for a better life to Liberia, and they never had that opportunity. So yes, I'm mad every time, because not only did you damage my people, you ruined their futures. Their lives were ruined. These were teachers, these were doctors, and their dreams were ruined.
And that's one of many examples.
Many. Like I said, it's like this puritanical approach to reality needs to stop, man. You got to get your hands dirty. We're in a mud fight and you trying to be clean. Try to get your hands dirty. Or don't get in the fight.
Yep.
There is an option. You can just be, somebody's stuff, which you seem to be very comfortable with.
There's a lot of people that absolutely enjoy just being here and being. They think that if they get degrees and they get a job that this country deems as a acceptable job, that is going to be what keeps them from having the same treatment as regular black folk until they ride down the street and they get pulled over by a cop and the cop beat their ass. I think the majority of black people need a nigga moment. That's how I feel about it.
No, it just happened, Salima. It just happened. Remember? Did y'all hear about what Mitch McConnell said about what he said? Right?
Mm-hmm.
He said Africa. Yeah.
Then
what did you see in Twitter on the Twitter comments? Black people trying to prove that they are Americans.
Wait, what did he say?
Laughing. He said African Americans vote higher than Americans. Right?
Yes.
He said that.
What?
And so.
Yes.
Oh, he said the quiet part out loud. In other words.
Yeah. And so.
They said, I think Mitch is going a little senile, and the true him is coming out. He can't hold back no more. It's either that or he just don't care, because he said it with a straight face. And how do you prove that that's not him saying black people are not Americans? How do you prove that when that's clearly what he said? He's an educated man. He knows politics backwards and forwards.
I'm more interested in the response. What was the response to that?
They wanted to get the hashtag I'm an American.
Oh, Lord.
They want to prove that they are an American.
Literally, holla, I kid you not.
Y'all just gave me a brain aneurysm.
Holla, let me tell you something. There were black people on Twitter tweeting, I am an American, and then with military uniforms on. They were showing their military uniforms like, I'm an American. I was laughing so
I'm in
hard.
fucking pain right now. I got a sharp pain that just went through my cerebral cortex.
So sorry.
Oh my God. I can't, man. I can't do it.
Like, I kid you not. Like, I was laughing the whole time.
You know what that's like? You know what that's like when you go to France, right? And you're Oprah, and some French dipshit in a store decides that they don't want you, or they're gonna look at you and profile you because you're a black woman. So your response to that is to buy out the store.
Right. Oh, those things make me so angry. Let me show you that I can actually buy
I got
this.
money too. Let me buy the store and give you a raise.
That's I mean,
what
first of all,
fucking moron.
Oprah. They did that to Oprah in Paris.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To a store, and this is what I'm saying. And rather than her walking away and never stepping foot in that store again, she still purchased something. If you disrespect me to the point where I need to now go ahead and make a video about what the disrespect that you get, I'm not spending my money with you. This is for some reason. Well, I know the reason. God. It's just disturbing. Thank you.
I need people to think critically.
You did exactly what I was getting ready to do.
Because whenever I hear, like, somebody had told me something about Chris Brown had a light skin party where if you was too dark, you couldn't get in the party, right? And no, I don't want us to get distracted with that, because that's the easy thing. The easy thing is to point to him and say, "Oh, that's fucked up," whatever. That's not my issue.
Right.
My issue was, why didn't the light-skinned black women in that party walk the fuck out and tell Chris Brown to go fuck himself?
That's right.
That's what my issue is. Instead of sitting up there going, "Oh well, I guess you can't get in, girl. I'll see you tomorrow."
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm gonna go get some of that Chris Brown money.
We gonna have
That's what people should be focusing on.
The people that are compliant and complacent with the treatment that we receive. Those are the people.
Could you imagine
that are at fault?
Could you imagine if I was at a party and they had a paper bag test and I would Mark, and Mark, I can get in, but Mark can't, and I'm going to that fucking party? Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. First of all, that paper bag is going to be shoved up your ass.
Yep.
Paper bag? What are you fucking light skin party? And the fact, and see, this is why I don't get on the Chris Browns and the bootlicker Negroes, because the fact that you can do that comfortably says volumes about clout chasing.
Not only that, there has to be women who are okay with
There you go.
dark-skinned women not
Exactly.
being in that situation.
Exactly.
So, are we blaming Chris Brown, or are we blaming the women who allowed this to happen?
Because all the women that stayed at that fucking party should have been on video, and it should have been recorded. Who stayed at that party and went to the light skin party comfortably?
That's right.
Keisha.
Nope, they popped them bottles.
Brenda.
They popped them bottles. They got down on their knees. They did everything that they needed to do to stay in that party, because that's where they wanted to be.
Clout is a hell of a drug.
Diamonds on my wrist.
Right.
We know that.
But this is the thing. They don't even get that. They don't even get those things. The disrespect that those women expressed to dark-skinned women was the same disrespect that those men in that party was going to bestow upon their light-skinned asses.
Oh shit.
So y'all have at that.
She said it's seed time and harvest time.
That sure is right.
Vic said Angela and Renee. We can't forget Angela and Renee.
Pass the collection plate. She in harvest time.
I'm gonna punch you.
And the book of Malachi 10:10 reads.
Like, I expect these Negroes is very comfortable saying the foul shit that they say, and all I see is people making excuses.
Yeah,
that's justifying it.
Yep.
Preference. That's my preference.
There's a difference between a preference.
No, and that's okay. Exactly, Jabari. It's a difference between a preference and a bias. You know what I mean? It's a difference.
Here, let me describe the difference. I go into Haagen-Dazs, right? My preference is vanilla almond. I don't go into Haagen-Dazs and say, man, I don't want no fucking chocolate. The person behind the counter gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about chocolate for? What do you want?
And if they don't have vanilla almond, you get something else.
Right. But you don't go in there telling them all the flavors that you don't like. What the fuck is the purpose of that? We're living in a bizarro reverse, like alternate multiverse, whatever they want to call it, universe.
You can tell we live in an alternate world. When you had the U.S. government, for goodness sakes, the FDA having to come out to say you're not a horse. Stop using ivermectin in horse baits. When you have people coming out here saying we should drink urine as a cure for COVID-19. Literally, you have people who are saying if you drink your urine, that's a cure for COVID-19. This is the stuff we're dealing with. This is what the nonsense, the craziness that we're dealing with.
Welcome to your brainchild is all I gotta say. You can't have it both ways. This society wants to dumb people down and then get mad when they say dumb shit. If you wanted intelligent population, then you would teach people intelligence. You would teach them critical thinking. But you don't want, if you teach them critical thinking, you wouldn't be in power. So all this complaining that they doing about, the fake news and misinformation, that's what you wanted, that you train these people. It's like the guys who complain about women. But in the meantime, you buying farts in jars and making girls millionaires.
Yo. Let's add even further. Did you see the tweet holla of the students that attended? It's like almost an Ivy League school. It is an Ivy League school. Penn, University of Pennsylvania, right? Or UPenn, right? One of the teachers, this is a business school. These are going to be your future CEOs and all of that, right? They asked them, what do the average American say? What does the average American make? A quarter of the students that go to that Ivy League school believe that Americans make six figures. The average American makes six
Yep,
figures.
$100,000.
One of them even said the
$100,000.
average
Yep.
American makes 800,000.
Yo,
Kid you not.
it's called a bubble. It's called a blind spot. Like I've had this conversation with some brothers where they talk about, like, they say, oh, men always saying that it's hard to meet quality women. That's not true for me. And I'm like, all right. And then this is when I go down the list. I say, all right, son, how tall are you? Oh, I'm 6'2". Oh, okay. You go to the gym? Yeah, I go to the gym 3 times a day. Oh, okay, cool. How much do you make? Oh, about 6 figures. Like, so of course you're gonna find quality women. You checking all the fucking boxes.
Yep.
That's what people have, these blind spots. They think that just because shit works, it's like what they say, privilege is invisible to those that have it.
Yeah. I mean, when you're average, think about it. I want you to think about the average money, the average income that a student from UPenn comes from is $195,000. $200,000 is the average income of the average UPenn student. Meaning, if you're going to UPenn, the average student's family makes $200,000 a year. You're not talking to people who broke. You're talking to people who are literally surrounded by money. So, of course, for them, they thinking the average person makes 6 figures because everybody around me is making 6 figures.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Little do they realize that the average American can't even afford a $500 emergency.
That's right.
More than half the country can't afford a $500 emergency would put them in poverty. What's the average salary? 30?
Yes. No, the median. The average is 45,000.
No, that's the median. The average is
45,000. The
but
median
if you
is 30.
And that ain't much.
Yeah. The reason why the average is so skewed is because you have to count all the rich people. So if you cut out the rich people and the median is 34,000, that means half of Americans live above 34,000, half of Americans live below 34,000.
This dude said, if you drink your urine.
Oh my God.
Not only that, let's think about the people who was drinking bleach. Let's think about the people who were drinking bleach.
You're literally
trying to get rid of COVID.
You drank something that
they trained them to be that way.
Never before would you even think about doing that.
Where's the critical thinking courses in school? Where are they? Where's the thing to teach people? All they do is take advantage of people, appeal to like these companies that behave in behavioral science. It's not behavioral science so you can teach the human condition and teach people how to be better human beings. It's to take it and put them in advertising companies so you can make money off of them. So that if that's what your goal is, if that's what your value is as a society, then stop complaining about misinformation. Stop complaining about your population voting Donald Trump into office. Stop complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
You trained them to be that way. Just like these guys train these chicks to be everything that they complain about.
Mm-hmm.
You got a chick selling her goddamn farts. And you're buying them at $1,000 a clip.
I'm about to say, you can't.
Listen. There was a post on Facebook and it said, real black men want black women with no makeup on, their natural hair and their natural bodies. And there is a picture of a woman in a full face of makeup, a weave down her back, and breast implants. I'm sorry,
that's supposed to be the example of it?
Situational awareness.
That's the picture that they added with, and then one guy said, well, how do you know that's not her natural hair? Because I know what a lace front wig looks like. I know what a full face of natural looking makeup looks like.
Yo, I'm gonna keep it real.
Because
I'm gonna keep it 100.
I'm
keeping it 100 for y'all, and this is me. If you don't find when she's in her natural state, meaning when there's no makeup on, her hair ain't done and all that shit, if you don't love that woman, then what the fuck are you dealing with?
Exactly.
What are you dealing with? Because that's who she's gonna be. The majority of the time, that's who she and you got to make her feel comfortable that she can be that and you still be there.
Speaking of which, I know Hollop, you talk to the one sister, you know who I'm talking about. She did a great job. She did a video on Kayla Nickel, right?
Mm-hmm.
She said, and you know who I'm already talking about. I don't even need to say her name. You already know. But she said that black women should stop putting white men on a pedestal, and yet she was dating a white man.
Well,
White
she said
people
stop
crap.
putting them on a pedestal. She didn't say anything about the other thing.
Dating them. That's that dear white people crap. You know that show where
Oh God.
this girl,
Don't make me revisit that.
Oh
please.
no,
I'm just
no,
saying.
please.
I'm just saying.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
That's
Don't
what
make
that
me
is.
revisit
That's
that
exactly what
train
that
wreck of
is.
an idea. And that was written by a white woman.
I'm
Thank
sure
you
it
know
was.
that?
Yeah, not
I'm
surprised.
sure it was. But
Dear white
you
people.
can't say that you want something. You can't say that you want something and then you want the complete opposite of no, sir. And then you have black men actually saying, well, how do we know if it's natural or not? I'm sorry, what? So you don't know what you don't know what a natural black woman look. Thank you.
You can tell when something. I can tell when it's natural hair and when it's a wig. It's obvious. You can clearly tell. I'm just like, girl, that is not your natural hair, and I know it ain't your natural hair.
I have a stupid question. Can someone tell me what the series Dear White People was about real quickly? I never watched it.
It's not worth your time.
I'm not a TV person.
It's really not worth it. The premise was there was a mixed race girl in college I believe it was an Ivy League white college, and she went into the school and basically turned it upside down for the black people. They're mistreating you all, this and the third. She rejected all of the black men that wanted to be with her, and she ended up being with this white man. That's basically the premise of it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not worth your time. That's what I'm saying.
I just
and
understand
she wanted
so I could understand the joke. But
she wanted to. She invited her white boyfriend to a black meeting.
Yeah,
that's how you know it was written by a white person. That's how you know.
Oh, interesting.
Ain't no black person. Ain't no real black person would let. Ain't no real black person let that
Sit down and listen.
Ain't no real. That's how you know.
No, there are.
Like I said,
No, there are some.
Like I said, y'all,
there are
we
some.
sitting up here. We're grandmaster chess players, and instead of us playing in the game, we sitting back watching A-Town and Welvin the Great play for us. And 50 Tyson and Flavor Flav. We letting all these niggas play for us, and they getting checkmated and beat every fucking game, and we can't even communicate with them to tell them what moves to make. We just got to sit back there and watch the losses. That's what we're dealing with. Morons are on the mic. Morons are running with the globe. And I really hope that the underrateds and the Deontay's and Jabari's, I'm gonna give all of my energy and all of my fasting and praying for you guys that you don't go through the same shit that I went through in my life.
That's right.
Because I've been fighting these Negroes all of my life just to get to where we are right now.
I feel the same.
I had to basically sacrifice my life for this shit.
God bless you, Mark.
I feel that
because I ain't even gonna. I ain't even gonna. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. I'm not even gonna be around to enjoy the shit that I'm talking about.
That's right.
And that's the reality. So I just hope that y'all kick these motherfuckers' ass. kick their asses. All of these Negroes that's against what we're talking about, beat the living shit out of them. And you can use that metaphorically or literally. I don't give a shit at this point.
I get it.
Because the future of our people is in the balance, man. And shit is happening right now across the globe with global warming and everything else. And we sitting up here playing tiddlywinks while everybody's playing chess.
True.
Arguing with Negroes. These Negroes need to be tomatoed off the stage at this point. If you're a black man and you exist in America and you are not for your people, you should be considered like Homie the Clown or something. Women should be laughing at you. Children should be pointing and laughing. You should be laughed off the stage at this point.
Facts.
Understood.
Too much, man. Too many people have sacrificed, and too many people have been fighting and me making little bit of progress because we did a deluge of Negroes who are totally comfortable with us having no power. In 2022, the discussion is still on the table about whether or not we should even have a nation. That's actually a question. Did you see the poll that we put up on the BAIO channel?
Yes.
I mean, that says it all. Some people, there's a small percentage, and maybe people don't think, they say no, we shouldn't. This is what we're dealing with. So I just hope that y'all have a much successful battle against these Negroes than I did.
Yes, and I just want to add to Haas' point. We will be that generation that changes, and I'm gonna try as hard as I can because, like you said, too many people have came before us. Too many people have tried to make it their dream, only for it to never come back. You know, when I think of the Garveys of the world, when I think of Mammy Damino, when I think of Henry Neal Turner, like when I told y'all about the story earlier about those who wanted to go to Liberia and never did, that's what motivates me. What motivates me is reading those stories, reading those events of those who are ancestors, that could have been our family, our great great grandparents, our great great grand uncles, nieces, and nephews who wanted to leave to have a better life and never had the chance to, and they were stuck here and they were forced to be sharecroppers. Doesn't that hurt you? Doesn't that want to bring a spirit up within you to correct what was supposed to have happened?
And don't ever forget to add this. Don't ever forget to add this. Were fought tooth and nail by people who look just like them.
That's right.
They were so tenacious about our people not having power that they watched those people go to the fucking grave without being free.
That is a very good point.
And if that doesn't stir something up inside of you, then you ain't got nothing inside of you. Because I like Jabari. I think about the Amos Wilsons. I think about the John Henry Clarks. I think about all of these people who dedicated their lives to African people. And they didn't make it to see what we're trying to do. And unfortunately, a lot of us ain't going to make it to see what we're trying to do. But guess what? We still doing it because we want to see y'all do it.
That's right.
And and your children do it. Because we're thinking about something that's bigger than ourselves. And if you ain't doing that, you ain't no real black man and you ain't no real black woman.
That's right.
Period.
A cause greater than yourself.
I mean, think about the Negro that actually there's a nigger right now listening to this broadcast and hating us. Hating us. The fact that we want something for our own people and have a future for our people, and they sitting up there going, God, I can't stand these niggas. That's what we dealing with. So just Maddie knows, Salima knows, people from my generation before we know. Trust me, the hate is real. The hate is real. These motherfuckers would rather see our people die as slaves than live as free. And they need to be called out. They need to be made examples of. They need to be people need to point and laugh and tomato their ass. Every time they pick up a microphone on stage and try to say something, they should be tomatoed off. If you ain't for make our people having power, why the fuck are we listening to you talk about anything?
That's right.
And we don't care to know anymore.
Well, anybody have anything else to add?
Not at this time.
Are we all good? Any more questions from the chat?
Ooh.
Love and I at this point is well, I would say the icing on the cake. The
This
world
one?
is making major moves, chess, and we are still trying to put our pieces on the checkerboard.
Yeah, and that's real. That's real. The severity of this, I've recognized the severity of this 20, 30 years ago. And it's been 20, 30 years of just trying to get people to recognize the severity of it. We're not even talking about actually making significant progress. We're talking about getting to the point where we can go, hey, you know what? Maybe we need a nation.
Mm-hmm.
So good luck, y'all. I'm with you. I'll be with you in spirit because I know how hard it is fighting these Negroes. And I'm glad I wear the hatred of me as a badge of honor. Because when a nigga don't like you, you doing something good. When a bootlicker don't like you, or your presence disturbs his spirit, it means you doing something. You better start worrying when everybody like you.
Yeah, you have conformed once everybody likes you.
Yep. They feel comfortable. But are we ready to end this?
Yeah, underrated.
Oh damn, y'all just call me out. I'm joking. Tonight we have, as always, the book club, 7 p.m. Chapter 12 is going to discuss economic order and power. And then after that, 8 p.m., we have the promo topic of tonight, which is evolution and devolution. Please, if you are a member, go on Discord and be a part of this, because this is going to be a great topic, and it's going to dive deep into what we just talked about a little bit today. You know, I got some questions set up, so please tune in if you are a member. In the Signal chat, if you don't know how to get on a Discord, please let us know in Signal or through the website if you remember. Other than that, that's all I have.
I have one more thing to say, because this is something that I got to get used to doing and I haven't really been doing. The BAIO is everywhere. Let me see if it'll allow me to. Yeah, that's our social media links to everything that we're on social media. Jabari is on TikTok. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere. If you click on that link, it will take you to all the outlets for the BAIO. Make sure you join. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. Make sure you follow. Make sure we get the word out to as many people, so we can attract as much like-minded people as possible. I'm not really concerned about going viral and the masses and all that nonsense. We need to attract people of like mind so we can build, because the way that this is going to be done is by a small demographic of people. It's not going to be everybody.
That's right.
You got 50 million black people here in America. It ain't going to be 50 million black people doing what they got to do for nationhood. It's going to be a very small percentage of that.
A couple thousand that's going to lead the charge.
There you go. So let's connect with those thousands. Let's pass the information, share it. Like I said, just it doesn't. We're not asking for blood and urine samples in your firstborn. Share a link. Click a thumbs up. Leave a comment.
We're not asking for money.
Yeah.
No money is exchanging hands. We're not asking you to turn your life upside down. Some links, sign on to the website, engage, and if this is what you think is good for us, for you, then you'll go ahead and be part of it and make these things happen.
Engagement is the key word, because the algorithms on social media always go to the people, like they go to what the people are interested in. So if you're not engaging in the content, then the algorithm assumes that you're not interested in it, and then you don't see it. It doesn't get to you. So leave a comment on the videos, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channels, follow the channels. Everything you know how this works. Y'all on social media for years. I don't even have to explain how it works. You know how it works. Just do it. And that's all I got to say about that. And on that note, good people, this has been real. I'm going to love re-listening to this. This was hot.
It was great.
All of you. Yeah, all of you guys really are brilliant. Brilliant, all of you. I love you to death.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
We love you more.
Love you back. Yes, absolutely.
Man, I need to talk to you soon.